Hi, Shelby here from Scrap with Shelby. I want to talk about a new way to decorate your flowers on your layouts. I think everyone is familiar with using buttons in the centers here, and that's really a cute way to decorate our flowers. Another way I think a lot of people are familiar with are using, let's see if I can get this nice and close here, it's using rhinestones in the center. That really gives maybe a more elegant look or a more grown-up look if you're not going for the cute. Alright, but my favorite that's just come out recently are using these flower centers from Prima, and I have some from Autumn Leaves. So I want to talk about how to do those, okay? So the idea is to take something that maybe you're not as crazy about, or that's maybe a little plain Jane. So here's the original. If you look at it, they come with these little plastic centers here. For one thing, I don't like them because they sit too high. I think that would just really not sit well in my scrapbook. So what I did was I just peeled this off, and I have these plain flowers here. Alright, I'm not sure I was too crazy about these Biddles at first. These are called little Biddles flowers, and they're made out of burlap. And I liked the pictures of them, but when I got them in person, I thought, oh, I'm not as crazy about these. But they were really transformed once I started adding the flower centers to them. So let me show you how to do this. What you're going to do is the flower centers come on these. Let me show you a new package here. They come in a little package like this, and you got quite a few centers in there in all different styles and colors. And of course, so that's the pastel color. They come in, oh my gosh, something like 20 different colors. It's really crazy. So here's another color there. And then here's something in more of the pewters and browns and pinks and blacks. I mean, the colors are just all over the place. So I'm going to take this right here because our colors seem to match pretty well. And what you want to do is you want to be careful because it is all stuffed together as one sticker. But if you're not being careful, you can pop those little individual pieces off. So what you want to do is kind of get your finger underneath there and kind of grab, and then you'll see that the whole thing is one sticker. It's kind of like a giant glue dot. Now, I heard someone comment at CHA that they didn't necessarily stick to fabric as well. I would disagree. I don't think you need any other adhesive on there. I think once you stick it on there, it pretty well stays on there. I wonder if I should go with a lighter color in this one. No, I think this first color is good. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick it down there, and it really does transform the look of the flower completely. Alright, so here's the original, and then there's with the new center. Right, and as I said, once you get it on there, it's not coming off really. Well, this one did a little bit. Let's see. No, it's really not. All right, if I pull that off, it's gonna pull it all apart. It's good and stuck on there. So you can see that I did a couple here, and here's another one. But you don't have to use these pearls. You could always go with something more of a metal look here. Kind of stumbling a little bit. So this is from, as you can see there, Autumn Leaves. This is scrap metal. These are flowers. They come in stars. They come in hearts. These hearts have been very popular. I use these myself on a layout. And these are just brads. So these aren't necessarily meant to be used as flower centers. Here, I have one that's already off here. But I thought they looked great because they have that kind of rustic look. So they go great. And if you just stick that in the center with a glue dot, you can see that really transforms the look too. I mean, it just really changes it. So I want to take you through another layout, and let's see, where did it go? I'm coming. Okay, I'm going to use some Delilah paper. Okay, so I'll just take you through what I've done here. I'll even get a blank. I took a solid sheet of paper, and I just took the Delilah Stripe and the Delilah Promise, and I just kind of stacked it all up there. And then I took just a plain white doily and treated it with that archival mist stuff to make it more acid free. And I just painted it brown, and then I dried it to give it that curling, because I did want kind of that antique-y look. So I'm just going to kind of roll that a little bit, and I'll probably go over that with a little distressing ink pad too. So here's a nice flower that I'm going to use, and I just want to point out how I got this one. You're going to love this. I took this cluster from the dollar store. I know, that's so funny, isn't it, that I would take it from the dollar store? And I popped off an edge here, and I just started pulling it apart because obviously this is not going to work well on my page. So I just started pulling the whole thing apart. So I pull that apart, and then if this gives you a hard time, just go in there with a pair of like wire cutters or some scissors and just snip it, because it doesn't matter if it falls apart. We're just going to glue it all down into the shape and size that we want it anyway. So don't be afraid of that. In fact, that was still sitting up a little too high. I didn't want it to sit up high on my page. So what I did was I went in and I really snipped it down so it would lay flat. Alright, same thing with here. Even though there's really not that much to it, I still felt like it would have a little bit too much height on my page. And I didn't want that. I want my scrapbooks to be up close. So what I did was I went in there and I just snipped some more of that off. Alright, so that it laid pretty flat. Now if you look at it, it's going to lay super, super flat now. And then I just took a cool iron and I flattened all those little wrinkles out so that it would lay flat like this. Okay, now you can see I took the rest of these Prima flowers and I've already put them down. Let's get rid of my scraps off of there. And you can see how they started out as paper flowers, and then I added these centers to kind of make them more beautiful. So here's the before. I'm going to hold this really close up so you can see it. So there's the before over here, and then there's the after. Alright, so I'll show you how I did that. Again, I'm just going to take that same sheet I was using, and what do I want to use here? I think I will use maybe this one. Right here, like that. And then I need one for this over here. I think we'll take this one, and I'll just put that right down there. You can see it kind of finishes the look. And then I'll do this right here. Again, you want to be careful with those centers. Putting them down. And look at how that really transforms the look of the flower. It just adds that little bit of elegance and gives it a polished, finished look. Alright, there you go. Okay, now finally the last thing I want to show you is, let's see, where are my materials here? Here we go, we're going to get that for you. This is just a blank card and a Prima flower. So I'm going to work fast here. So put the brown strip down. Again, this is from the Delilah line. And I'm going to put the flower there. Again, very plain, very simple looking. But I'm going to take, this time this one's from Basic Grey. Don't always think that a flower center has to be one small piece. And I'm going to take this, these shapes come as one big sticker here. So I'm going to carefully peel this off. It's a little tricky, but if you go slow and careful, it comes off pretty easily. You just don't want to force it, because I've noticed that if you force it, you can stretch out the shape. Alright, and what I'm going to do, get that out of my way, is I'm going to put this big part of the flower right in the center here, and then I'm going to just let the circle fall around. And I think I did stretch it out a little bit, so we're going to have to kind of play with it a little bit. This is where my tweezers would come in handy. There we go. Oop. I'll get our little curlies here. Put that down. Up. There we go. And you can see, assuming that I'll glue this down later, what a pretty flower center that makes. So it doesn't necessarily have to be one small piece. And there you have it. So just again to show you another one of those layouts, show all the different centers you can do. Right, you can see here I did a combination. So I took rhinestones and made a circle around them and then put a single pearl in the center. Up here I layered flowers and put one of those brads there. Over here, now here, this is another new little center that you can use. They're called little pebbles, and those are also from Prima. And they come in a package that looks like this. So you can just peel those off and stick those right in the center of your flowers. And then, again, what I like about some of these is that you don't necessarily even have to put them all in your flowers as centers. You can actually put them, layer them on the page so that it actually ties the whole thing together. So, there's a new way to use flower centers and to decorate your flowers. And hopefully you learned with our little dollar store trick here how to save some money on your projects. And there you have it. So enjoy and send me what you create. Bye.